to now, you still don't even see me for who I really am.
Here's a shot. Oh, the fucking drink!
I ain't your motherfucking daddy. You don't deserve to be my son.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang. Now, I'm actually feeling good tonight. We got a banger here for you guys today, and I actually got another video in the tuck, and I'm gonna try to record both of them tonight because I'm feeling good. Just hit my parlay on the Seahawks Giants game, so I'm feeling good. But like I said, we got a banger for you guys today. As you can see from the thumbnail, as we saw in the last Power Book Force episode, season 2, episode 5, Vic has finally killed Walter Flynn. And now this has been a theme that we have constantly seen all throughout Power, of the sons eventually killing their father, other than the one instance, of course, of Kanan killing his own son, Shawn. And I think at this point, we all have come to the agreement that the dad should have took a play out of Kanan, but they can't just keep getting popped like this, like they down 3-1 right now. Like, let's be serious, they're really down 3-1. But we're gonna dive into all those kills, the things that led up to them, the parallels, the comparisons, the differences, everything like that. And then we'll talk about how the stories played out for the other sons and how it could possibly play out for Vic for the rest of the season and the rest of Book Force. Because of course the other storylines are, I wouldn't say they're over, as Tariq still got his going on and Tommy obviously still in this, but we saw the direct aftermath and where things took a turn, other problems that came up and things like that. So we'll be able to dive into it and see how Vic's mindset might be, and also dive into what I think he'll possibly do. But the main thing that was kind of obvious about all these fathers and their relationship with their sons is they were almost trying to force lives upon their sons that they didn't necessarily want to live. Of course, Kanan and Shawn, Kanan wanted him in the street life, wanted him to take out Ghost, which we're gonna dive into later. Ghost and Tariq, Ghost didn't want him in that shit. He wanted him to go to Cho, get an education, leave the streets alone. He didn't want that for him. Walter wants Vic to take control of the family and all that, but Vic, he doesn't want that. He wanted a regular life. He wanted to move and leave with Gloria, but his father kind of ruined all that, and now Vic is on a straight rampage, going to the cops and everything of the sort. The only one who's really different is Tommy and Teresi. So once again, we got to dive into all these kills. As you can see from the thumbnail, like father, like son. This is an interesting video. So I just want to dive into the history of Power and all these dads getting killed, the relationship with their sons, what the problems was, and what led to their inevitable deaths. So also, once again, I say I got another video in the tuck, so you guys be on the lookout for that tomorrow before Book Force episode 6 drops Thursday. So again, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it, especially because it takes a while to go back, find these episodes, get all the footage, so you guys aren't just staring at a picture or just looking at me the whole video. So once again, I appreciate if you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump into like father, like son, and how they all should have took a page out of Kanan's book. So the one, of course, I want to dive into first is Tommy and Teresi, because this one, in comparison to the others, is the most different, but also I think it's the one that Vic will be able to learn the most from, because even though the situations, once again, like I said, are different, Tommy is within the show. We saw in the upcoming trailer that they're gonna have conversations. Vic's working with the feds to bring down Tommy, but I think this will come up in conversation that Vic took down Walter, and of course Tommy has some experience with all of this. So of course, Tommy and Teresi, what took place? We all know we going back to what, this is Power season 4 and 5 at this point. So Teresi, of course, gets out of jail, but he has to give information up on, of course, Ghost and Tommy. Now, as him and Tommy are getting closer, he doesn't really want to forfeit information on him, but Ghost, he's fine with giving Ghost up. He doesn't give a fuck about him, so he'll give Ghost up on a silver fucking platter. But Ghost, of course, he already doesn't trust this nigga, so he's not really getting any information on Ghost from him. As the feds start to press him more and more and more, he of course reveals the Mike Sandoval kill that he helped set up in jail. If you guys remember that, like I said, there's a lot of footage to go find, couldn't get everything, but if you guys remember, Mike Sandoval was working with the feds, was working with Lobos, everything like that. He helped them eliminate him, so he was able to give that to the feds and also claim that he knows that James St. Patrick is Ghost. But before the feds could act on this information, could bring him in and get him to say this shit on tape, to testify, to do any of that, of course, Angela was kind of back in control of the whole feds. So what Angela being back in control, what she decides to do is she presses them of who is their informant, their source, where they're getting their information, and they tell her Teresi. She immediately takes this information in these pictures and goes back to James, goes back to Ghost, and gives him this information. Now, he already suspected Teresi was a snitch and everything like that, and he's been telling Tommy and everything, but Tommy wasn't really trying to hear it. He was getting close with his dad, that was his family, felt like he could trust him, so he wasn't really hearing it. Ghost decided to take this information, instead of giving it to Tommy, he gave it to Vincent. Now Vincent is a part of the Italians, he's part of the crew that Teresi was in with before he went to jail for those 20, 30, 40 years, however long he was in jail. But they kicked Teresi out or whatever because he was too close to Tommy, they was fucking up their business, so they stopped fucking with them. James goes to Vincent and gives him the folder of Teresi talking to the feds and tells Vincent to give it to Tommy. It's better if it comes from Vincent than it comes from him, because him and Tommy relationship was rocky at that point. So Vincent goes ahead and does it, and Tommy, he tells Tommy he has to act on it, he has to eliminate Teresi, it's gonna be problems for both of them. Now Tommy, what's strange about this is, compared to all the other kills, I would say his was the least ruthless. Like, he kind of allowed Teresi, of course, to go see his wife, go talk to her, everything like that. He kind of did fake him out. He brought him back to the house, and Teresi thought he was just gonna let him go free, but Tommy pulled out the gun and killed him. Now this completely broke Tommy down, as does every major kill or death in his life. Of course, when Holly died, he was on the coke, he was losing his mind. When Liliana just died, back on the coke, losing his mind. So we see he has a hard time dealing with deaths that are so close to him, even with Ghost. And now, like, that's just something that's always been hard for him to deal with. And it's the same with Teresi, especially because it was his father. Like I said, they were getting close and he had to take him out, but he was a snitch. This even more so fueled the rivalry between Tommy and Ghost, because Tommy found out it was Ghost who orchestrated this whole situation. Now, I'm of the personal opinion that that's a little crazy that he was after Ghost for this, because even if Ghost orchestrated it, his dad was still a snitch and needed to be removed. He was trying to bring down your brother, your best friend, like he had to be eliminated. So even if Ghost orchestrated it, I didn't see Tommy's anger towards him being validated. Him and Ghost problems surged higher than ever, and they were back kind of at war, at odds with each other. But once again, this Tommy Teresi, I think this would be the one that Vic could learn the most from, because we're gonna see him and Tommy interact more and more in these coming episodes as Vic tries to get information on Tommy for the feds, take down CBI, take down everybody, of course. So I think this will be a key factor that I had to talk about this one first, even though it's so different from all the other father kills within the shows. Next, let's move on, of course, to Tariq killing Ghost, because this one is definitely the one that's the most similar to Vic killing Walter, even though they were for completely opposite reasons. Of course, the main thing being that the dads are in a way of what their sons want, the lives that they want. Tariq wanting to be in the game, but Vic wanting to get out forever. So the dads are in the way. Tariq and Ghost is probably the one we have the most information on, because it was what, 6 seasons leading up to this big moment, and it felt like the end of a fucking era. And also we have Book Ghost that's still continuing with Tariq and his story, with him trying to fill Ghost's shoes and everything like that. Ghost getting closer to Angela, kind of stepping out in the family. Tariq kind of felt like he wasn't there for them anymore, and bro, I ain't gonna lie, he started acting out. He started wilding, going a little crazy, doing a little stupid shit, being mean to his sister a little. He also took Angela's gun when they went over to Ghost's house. He started hanging around Ray, Kanan, everything like that, and he got his fucking sister killed. So when that happened, when that whole shit took place, Ghost, Tommy, Tariq, they're all rushing to get to Ray, kill this nigga, get revenge for Raina. But Tariq get there first, he gets his first kill, and from here on out, it was no stopping him or keeping him from this game. Especially once he found out who James really was, who his father was, that he was Ghost, that he was never looking back. He couldn't stop this dude for nothing. They sent him away to Cho. That didn't work because he was still working with Kanan. He was still stealing supplies from Tommy. Got Tommy even hanging this nigga off the roof. Their relationship just kept getting more amplified and was getting worse and worse and worse. Like post like season 3-ish, 4, like they were never on the same page again, and it just continued to grow and grow and grow. This ultimately led into him deciding to kill Ghost, because Ghost told him he wouldn't take the fall for the Ray kill anymore. Then Tariq made his mistake, he made his bed, now he has to lie in it. Ghost decided he wasn't gonna take responsibility for it anymore, and Tariq felt like he broke his trust for the last and final time. Now, funny enough, and we're gonna talk about this when we get to the Kanan and Shawn death or kill, he had a hallucination of Kanan, who kind of convinced him to go through and kill Ghost, and he kind of saw Kanan as, I wouldn't say father figure, but the role model he looked up to more. And it was kind of the opposite for Kanan and Shawn, where Shawn saw Ghost or his Uncle G as his role model, as someone he looked up to, even though he was trying to fuck Tasha. We'll talk about that later, but it was kind of the reverse role. And once again, Tariq having this hallucination of Kanan is what finally convinced him to go ahead and make his move and kill Ghost, that he was the problem. And he said it when talking to Ghost. He told him up to this point he still doesn't see it, that he is just like him, and Ghost didn't want to see him for who he is. He also said in that conversation that Ghost is in his way, and he's in the way of what he wants. And once again, that compares exactly to Vic and Walter. We've seen both seasons. Vic does not want to be in his life. He just want to leave and be with Gloria. Now, he took all the wrong routes and passages to get towards that, but we saw that's ultimately what he wanted, and it got to a point where it was too late and he lost Gloria. Tariq didn't want to let it get to that point to where he goes to jail for Ray, or he loses his mom and everything like that, even though she still kind of lost her. She's in witness protection, but he didn't want to let it get too far past the point. He wanted to live and be in control of his own life, so he decided to kill him. It felt like an end of an era. I know a lot of fans still haven't watched Power since this moment, don't know there's a Raising Kanan, a Book Force, a Book Ghost, everything like that, but we're still seeing Tariq's story continue. This ultimately kind of destroyed his family. Once again, like I said, Tasha has been in witness protection. His grandma doesn't really fuck with him because she doesn't have no family. They sent Yaz away. He finally sent her to be with Yaz and of course Tasha, and even their Uncle Tommy, or his Uncle Tommy, doesn't fuck with him anymore, doesn't fuck with him like that, because he killed Ghost. Like, Tommy even went to have a conversation with him before this of him, Ghost, and Tariq taking out Dre and all being a family again, cutting out all the snake shit, but Tariq decided to go his own route and take out Ghost himself. So Tommy wasn't fucking with him for a while, and then he even went on to allow Tasha to snitch on Tommy, so Tommy came back for revenge. So that broke apart their whole family and bond. It's kind of rekindled now at this point. Tommy came back, tried to kill Tasha. They squashed it. Tommy gave him some advice about Ghost, telling him you can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's how you catch a bullet. So Tariq did learn lessons from Tommy, he learned lessons from Ghost, and I'm sure Vic learned lessons from Walter. But once again, this the one that's the most similar because we have to see how Vic's stories plays out. He wanted this own life that he has power and control of without his father's input, and that's the same thing Tariq wants, even though they're going in opposite directions. Now we see Tariq is doing everything he wanted, and Vic, we gotta see if that comes into play for him, because the way he's trying to go about it is gonna get him in a lot more trouble and problems with him trying to be a snitch, investigating, being undercover, taking down Tommy, CBI, and his sister. He could have just up and left after he killed Walter, but he wants to tear everything down with him. So we just gotta wait and see how it plays out. But once again, I think these are the ones that are the most similar to each other, and a lot of people say he could learn from Tariq, but he doesn't know that nigga. A lot of people talk about possible crossover episodes. That's a whole nother video on its own, but up to this point, these two are the most similar to each other. Now, next up, Kanan and Shawn, and he's the only one who got them a win. He's the only reason the score is even 3-1. It'd be 3-0 right now. But in all seriousness, Ghost set him up, sent him to jail. Him and Tasha came up with the whole tail light shit, caught him with the dope, and he went to jail. So when he got out, he wanted revenge, and they needed someone who could get close enough to Ghost to take him out, someone who Ghost trusted. And of course, Shawn was his driver. Now Ghost, he loved Kanan, and that's the reason he sent him to jail. He wasn't gonna kill him, he didn't want to take him out. So with all that taking place, he took Shawn under his wing, kind of raised him and kept him out of harm's way. But Kanan tried to use this to his advantage. Shawn, being his son, just thought he would blindly follow him and do anything he said, and wanted him to be the one who killed Ghost. And he also used the incentive that Shawn wanted to be with Tasha to try to push him even more so to do this. This happened in what, season 2? Wow, this is going really far back. This happened way back in season 2, where they decided they were gonna eliminate this nigga Ghost. So they came up with this whole plan with him and Trey to get in a car, to shoot him, bring him from Manhattan to Queens to get rid of the body. But of course, Shawn couldn't go through with the shit. Shawn goes and finally decides to try to go through with it. But come on now, we know this nigga not like that. Goes fucking take the gun from this nigga, slap him, put the gun in his mouth, about to smoke this nigga. Told Shawn he's not built for this life. And even though he took the gun from him, had the opportunity to kill Shawn when Shawn was just attempting to do that to him, he decided not to let him go. Like he said, he wasn't built for this life. He kind of raised him as his own son when Kanan left. And Shawn, instead of leaving town like he was supposed to, like Ghost told him, instead of taking Tasha and the kids and doing that, bro goes back to meet up with Kanan. Now Kanan, up to this point, already knew he couldn't go through with the shit. He was already making plans on the phone with Dre to light up Ghost at the club. So this nigga Shawn did not have to go here. He kind of put himself in this circumstance, and he kind of was talking crazy. I'm not trying to validate what Kanan did, but he was talking crazy. So they had this whole conversation and argument, and Shawn tries to leave. Kanan felt disrespected, and he fucking popped that nigga. And like, this was one of the most surprising kills of the entire show. And the aftermath of this is wild, because once again, he starts kind of raising Tariq as his own son, teaching him the game the way Tariq told Ghost later on in the show. He told Ghost, teach me the fucking game. So that's kind of crazy that he killed Shawn but then taught Tariq, and Ghost let Shawn go but didn't want Tariq in that life at all. The kill was just so crazy to see, and it caused a wild chain of events to take place, because it also led to Tariq being in that life as well, because he wanted answers about Shawn, didn't understand how he died, where he went, his parents and things keeping stuff from him. And this kind of elevated or led to him being close to Kanan overall, and led to Kanan's death, and led to Ghost and Tariq's feud. So this kind of created more problems than any of these kills when you really think about it, because it caused a massive chain of events and because it was the first instance of a father son, one of them taking each other out. So overall, this one is just crazy to see, and with the fathers being down 3-1, I just wanted to talk about this one specifically to say that they should have took a page out of Kanan's book. There's a reason on this thumbnail I gave Kanan half the fucking thumbnail, put his shit in a different color. Like, he deserved his props for doing what he had to do. Now we're gonna speed run everything that took place within Vic's story because we've already been recapping it every week, episode to episode. If you want to learn everything, go check out my video recapping episode 5 of Book Force, or check out this video on the Flynn family civil war I talked about and predicted. Everything pretty much came true, so you can check out those videos. But basically, Walter Flynn orchestrated this big plan to kill Gloria and blame it on Tommy, and this ultimately caused a big war, caused CBI to split up. It caused Claudia to kill Liliana, caused Vic, of course, to turn against his father, not trust him anymore, not want to be a part of the organization because he learned he killed Gloria. In all of season 2 now, Vic has been plotting and planning to take down his father from the inside. We've seen him start this already, where they was working with the 2 new guys. Vic called the police, got one of them wrapped up, told him he had drugs in a briefcase. He went and killed the other guy, so he was fucking up his business, messing up their money. He wanted to destroy him any way possible. Then his sister came and proposed a plan to take down Walter as soon as possible, and he agreed with it. Now, going along with this plan, he didn't know how devious and fucked up his sister was. Now Claudia, she's getting more and more ruthless as the story continues. We see her getting more and more kills. Of course, she killed the doc, she killed Claudia, she killed the other guy she was working with, she killed May, she killed a lot of fucking people at this point. She gets more and more ruthless. She didn't alert him that the time for the kills was moved up because she wanted him to die too so she could run the organization. After all this takes place, the last 2 left standing are Walter and Vic decides to take him out. Now, after Vic kills his father, he could leave and go live the life he always wanted, but he decides he wants to go to the FBI, bring his sister down because she tried to kill him, and take everything down with him. But they also tell him that he has to take down Tommy Egan as well. Now with all this information, he still agrees to do it. We of course get the trailer, the preview of him and Tommy talking, like 2-3 different conversations we're gonna see in this next episode this upcoming Thursday. But I honestly think Vic decides not to snitch on Tommy. I think they'll bond over the fact they both killed their fathers. Now let me explain. Vic is kind of in the spot Tony Teresi was in. Him and Tommy were both close to Gloria, so they both know how they feel about that. He has to get close to Tommy to get information on him. Them bonding over the situation of them killing their father, helping one another, realizing Tommy tried to help him in his times of need. I think he'll decide not to snitch. I think he will, of course, also alert Tommy that it was Claudia who killed Liliana, and that's because he see his sister just getting worse and worse by the day, and she just tried to set up and kill him. So I think for sure he will alert Tommy of the Claudia situation. We even hear a conversation of that in the trailer where he asks what will Tommy do to his sister, and Tommy answers him. So I think that will for sure take place. I could be gambling on him decide not to snitch on Tommy, but when does anyone ever get out the Power Universe safe? He has to give all them up to get this new life. It's not likely. So he's either gonna decide not to snitch and get away from the feds, or he's gonna die trying to take everyone down with him. But once again, one thing I know for sure, he will alert Tommy that it was Claudia who killed Liliana. Overall, that's it for the video. That's the like father, like son. That's the long history of power and the feuds between the fathers and their sons. The sons up 3-1, taking out their father 3 times, with, of course, Vic killing Walter, Tariq killing Ghost, and Tommy killing Teresi. And my boy Kane and Allen Iverson over here, I guess, getting the 1 win on the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, getting the 1 win, dropping 40, taking out Shawn. So I guess This is just a crazy dynamic and parallel and a constant theme we see throughout the entirety of the Power universe. Ripple and disconnect between these fathers and sons. I mean, no one's perfect, but I ain't gonna lie, a lot of these was just bad fucking parenting. Like, they didn't do a good job, to say the least. I mean, to be fair, most of them wasn't in their lives. Of course, Kanan wasn't in Shawn's life for a majority of the time. Teresi damn sure wasn't in Tommy's life, and Walter and Ghost was in their kids' lives, but tried to, I guess, control and manipulate it in too many ways. But Ghost wanted the best for Tariq. It just didn't turn out like that. But you guys can let me know what you think about this all down below in the comments. Let me know any other theories, predictions, revisionist history you want me to dive back into with these characters, parallels, comparisons, anything of the sort. Once again, leave that all down below in the comments. But I'm out.